All right, there we go. Now it's on. Now it says live in there, which is good.
You're technically live right now. You can live. I'm actually seeing it's on the YouTube channel. All I'm seeing right now is the white with the purple trim on the bottom screen. So what you'll need to do is when you have your camera ready, you need to click the little button, hover over the camera down below until it has the stage. That'll put your camera on the stage that it's being live streamed now.
Well, so that's the weird thing. Add to stage. So it doesn't. Oh, you can see it? All right, so this is live streaming basically.
You're live streaming right now.
All right, so I can. I'm sorry. I was going to say I'll mute this for now.
Okay. Very and I gave that guy so much credit. Probably 20 years ago.
That was when wonderful meetings.
I'm sure one of the ones, right?
Oh, okay.
That's fine.
So what I'll do is I'll log back in tonight, just it's actually a very so I'll find whatever matches that, and I'll send you that file copy. And then once you say, like, I'll just update it. No.
Okay. I'll like cover the baseline and then I'll like step up a little so we're pretty far.
They heard before, exactly, they don't remember. They still don't do anything.
Okay, yeah, that was exactly right.
Okay. I'll send it to you. It's a blessing.
You know what, that's what I'm worried about.
Phone?
It's spam
Like my
calls.
phone.
Oh, that's nice.
Yeah.
I'm wondering how they do that.
Where are you going?
Portugal, I went for a wedding.
That's pretty cool.
I've been before, I did a tour, like 4 years ago, I'm going for a wedding. I'm trying to find a sort of beach. I can't seem to figure out where to go. Oh, no, it's very hard. I think you just want to information.
So you don't want to go to that place?
No, I want to relaxing, luxurious. You know, I don't want to go walk 10 minutes. I was trying to find travelers. So I found one. I think I'm going all the way there. It's ridiculous for a weekend. No, that's not.
Destination, when they take their hotel during the wedding.
It's for a hotel.
Okay, fine. Oh,
Yeah, so you do your last name, because I always pronounce it. Garris. If I say it wrong again, you just correct me.
And everybody sees it. I'm just saying, it looks like another word. Is it good to sit here?
So, is that all that needs to be done to set up, George?
Yeah,
That's
just that goes into
So I've
here.
gotta take a picture of that.
Power cord goes to the power.
And then I
And
just.
then you gotta pull up StreamYard.
So I'll have to make my StreamYard account. But now I can have that.
Yeah, and then it's literally 2 buttons.
And I'll just have him walk us through it the first
Yeah.
time.
And you just make sure that the camera is like within a range that.
So we're not doing any mics or anything.
No,
Okay.
the mics are in the bag. So if you want to use them, but
No.
We're not officially started yet.
I don't think there's any reason because that mic on that works really well.
Okay.
They just got that key.
Excuse me? I put it back. Yeah, right? It's
Just come and just throw those over there, thanks.
I'll be up there to say, you want me to be up there? Okay, what did you do? No, I don't want to do it. Yes, well, what did you do, please?
That's what I usually do.
You were just read these two, that you're down, you were downstairs.
Just want us to introduce ourselves. I mean, this one too. I'm George.
Okay. All right. I know, I read so you think here.
Okay.
But this is terrible, so I will look at it, and we have to do 2 parts, maybe the second part will be the financial planner later on.
Yes.
Oh, we already talked.
That's why having his programming.
So just give me the, pages and I'll have.
It's way too bad.
Perfect.
This week? Yeah.
Or wherever you would like to be. You guys,
I guess you're doing it.
Well, I figured.
Cool.
watch the cord and put a chair over this. So people know there's a cord there.
How are you tonight? My name is Denise Palatano-Schwendeman, and I'm part of the ACAP group, so welcome everyone. Tonight we have 2 sponsors who will be speaking first before the main event. The first are the Garrises. This is Christine Garris. She and her husband own a concierge service. So I'm going to let her speak and tell you what they do. Probably better.
Hi, so I'm an occupational therapist. I've been one for almost, actually over 30 years. And while I've been doing that work, I realized there was a gap where there was healthcare services that provided wonderful care and families that were trying to piece together care for their loved ones. And there's a whole gap in the middle where people are having a hard time. So we kind of step in and help out when people are becoming overwhelmed with either living alone or living in an assisted living, but want maybe a little bit more interaction that's one-on-one. So we'll come in and work with people. We come in when there's difficulty, like maintaining safety at home. We do transportation. The difference with our transportation is we pick someone up, we drive them to wherever it might be that they're going, doctor's office, whatever it may be, we stay with the person. So don't drop them off and leave them, and then come back so that we can be there to support. If it's a doctor's appointment, we can go and do some helping fill out some paperwork. And I've even gone into appointments with clients, used FaceTime so that their family member can be at the call. You could be at the visit, but not if they can't be there. We're really helpful when someone's family members are not in the area, or they're kind of sandwiched in between trying to take care of their own children, their parents, and everybody's getting a little overwhelmed. We'll come in and do different things like running errands, help clean out the house, make it safe. Because I'm an OT by background, we try to look at things and try to be proactive instead of reactive. So we try to anticipate any difficulties. And then either we in-house provide services with our employees who are all CPR trained. They're all background checked. We have all of our insurance set up, or we work with trusted partners who provide services, and we help coordinate that so that the families can just call us and we take care of everything, trying to coordinate services and make sure everything's running in place. So if anybody has any questions, we'll be happy. Oh, yeah.
I love what you said about the transportation services. Are they paying like hourly for the concierge service and the like, is there mileage?
No, we just charge hourly rate for concierge services. To medical appointments and things like that, I think there's a slight amount more, but yeah, it's all hourly. So.
And with the hourly, we don't charge 1 hour and then like an hour and 10 minutes, you're paying for 2 hours. We charge after the first hour, it's 15
Every 15 minutes, yeah.
So that people aren't charged for like a whole hour and they've only used 20 minutes of it.
What's the name of your company?
Garris Senior Concierge. So it's GARES and then Senior Concierge.
Yes. And the contact number?
551-244-4699. And our website is garrisconcierge.com.
And the brochures are over
The
here,
brochures are over there.
They're right over here. Everyone's brochures are here.
Oh,
If
okay.
you need it, so-
Thank you, Christine.
Thank you.
Thanks for being a sponsor. Our next sponsor is Mr. Stephen Katz. He is from Katz Elder Law, and he's going to talk a little bit about what his services are.
Hi, I'm Stephen Katz. I'm an attorney. I'm located in New York and New Jersey. I'm licensed in New York, New Jersey. So I mostly sit in New Jersey. I live in New Jersey, but I would say my practice is evenly split between New York and New Jersey for trust and estates law. So basically, I mean, the trade name that we use in our firm is Katz Elder Law. I'm the principal attorney, and I would say the services we do are geared mostly towards seniors, but we're doing a lot more planning now for younger people, especially wills and trusts for younger people, and powers of attorney are very, very popular for kids going away to college. Because you got that 18-year-old and that's like a legal cutoff, and parents no longer have access to anything. If a child is, child's no longer a child, the child's a legal adult, but they have a medical issue or a financial problem, or for whatever reason can no longer speak for themselves, their parents are cut off. So that's a big, around this time of year, we start doing that stuff. As the college acceptances come in, that's when we start doing powers of attorney. But our work is mostly related towards seniors and end of life planning in terms of financing long-term care is a big thing that we do, especially Medicaid for over-resourced people. I think in general, there's an understanding that if you are going to need long-term care, you need to exhaust all your resources in order to qualify for Medicaid. And that's not true from a lawyer perspective. So a big part of what we do is enabling people to become Medicaid ready, even if they are over-resourced. And I would say lately in the last year or so, we've taken on a lot of probate matters that are on the more complicated side. So mostly contested probate, where I think the biggest issue we're having right now, and it's like case after case and file after file, is people whose siblings want to become executor or administrator and leave them off the probate petition. So we have to basically advocate for them. You forgot your brother, and that's been happening a lot. And I don't know why, but it's kind of like once you start doing the matter once, it just sort of attracts more people with the same issue. I don't know what's in the air, but we've been getting them pretty steadily since January. So that's the biggest thing we're doing right now. But I'm going to speak here next month. We just decided actually that we're going to do basic estate planning and then next level estate planning. So some interesting stuff. So I look forward to speaking next month. And I've spoken here probably like 2 or 3 times. So this is going to be like my 3rd time, 4th time?
4th time.
Yeah, okay, so Lorraine's keeping count. And I look forward to coming back next month. And if anybody has anything they want to hear about, just I guess let Lorraine know, and I'll try to work it in. So yes.
What's the date next month?
I don't know. Good
So what's the second Monday of the month?
Second
June
Monday.
8th.
June 8th. Okay. Okay. So see you all next month.
So welcome, thank you for coming, everyone. I'm Lorraine Montalbano with Bergen County ACAP. And I want to thank all my leadership team members. Thank you all for being here tonight and supporting us and helping us bring these programs to you at no cost. So we have a great program tonight. These were not out before, I apologize. So if you want to take one as you leave, it has all the upcoming programs and the dates. Okay, so tonight we're happy to have Debbie Corwin, yes, who is a leadership team member and also a sponsor for Bergen Volunteers. And she's a wealth of information, so go with the
Thanks very much. Welcome, everybody. It's really nice to see you. Old friends from the industry. Just a little bit about myself. My name is Debbie Corwin. I used to work in assisted living in Rockland County. I was at a community called the Promenade at Chestnut Ridge, and I was the director of community relations there, also known as the salesperson, but I don't like saying that because that's really not what it was all about. So I would be the one who would work with adult children, finding a place for their parent. And what I really loved about that particular community was the warmth and the caring and knowing that people are not necessarily ready to make a move, nor should they necessarily make a move at all. And we always felt very strongly about people remaining in their home as long as they're thriving. Patricia and I were just talking about that. As long as people are thriving in their home, that to me is how people should be living. Nobody wants to leave their home. And certainly nobody wants to be told by their adult children that they need to leave their home. So whenever you can find systems in place to keep your loved one at home, as long as they're thriving, that means socialization is really important, not to have seniors who are vulnerable at home, be isolated at home, and also safety. So Linda also, who knows about this very well, if you haven't heard Linda Chinman-Pollock, if you haven't heard her presentation, you really need to, because she's a wealth of knowledge when it comes to home improvements, and ways to keep people safe at home. So I work for Bergen Volunteers now. I'm the Director of Development and Communications. I've been there for almost a year. And we are a 501c3, we're a nonprofit organization, and we provide services to people in the community who need help. It's basically broken down into 3 key areas, one of which we'll focus on tonight, which are our senior programs. So the other 2 programs that we have civic engagement programs that are leadership programs, training new leaders to learn all different aspects of Bergen County, whether it's government, education, arts, nonprofits, and it's really to train leaders to give back to their community. So we have a program called Bergen Leads, and we have another program called Teen Leads, and that started off as a 2-week program in the summer, and it's now running throughout the year. And the teens are really getting valuable knowledge about different companies in Bergen County, and they're also learning communication skills. They're giving back to the community for Martin Luther King Day. They prepared birthday bags for children who don't necessarily get the luxury of celebrating their birthday. So in these essential care items for the birthday bags, with cake mix and decorations and balloons and things like that. So they were actually putting these kits together and had no idea that there was a need for that in Bergen County. So we do those services. Then we have services that help low to moderate income families. We have a mentorship program, which is phenomenal. It's an 18-month program, and we match volunteers who are mentors to mentees. So these mentees are between 10 and 21 years old, ages 10 to 21. And very often the kids who are getting these services are coming from single parent homes, or maybe first time English speaking homes. Maybe it's the first time somebody's going to college and they need a little bit of assistance getting through, their parent needs some help with that. Or maybe it's somebody who's just not really thriving in school and could use a little extra support, kind of like a big brother. So we match the volunteers. Bergen Volunteers started 60 years ago. That's really big. It was formed by a group of women who decided there were neighbors who needed assistance, and one thing led to another. And November 19th, we're having our huge 60th gala, which is a really big deal. The third set of programs that we have, and I'm going to start off with a special guest. So has anybody ever heard of Bergen Volunteers? Thank you, my friends. Thank you. Now, has anybody ever heard of the chore program? Yes. Okay. So we're finding that a lot of people know about the chore program. They don't necessarily know that it's one of Bergen Volunteers programs. So I thought, instead of me just telling you about it, I would actually ask a chore volunteer, Steve Cohen, to come over and say a few words about the program and your experiences being a chore volunteer. Thanks, Steve.
Thank you very much, Dave. I've been a volunteer for over 5 years, and it's definitely a win-win situation, because the folks that need us really do appreciate what we do. And we do things mostly at no charge. The only things that we would charge for is material. And the most common thing that we do is put in these grab bars in the shower, or next to the bathtub, or next to the toilet. And we make sure we firmly attach it to a stud in the wall so it doesn't pull out or get someone injured. And a lot of folks say, well, you're the expert. We're not the expert. The physical therapist that might be dealing, or occupational therapist, usually takes a piece of tape and puts it exactly where they want it. But with lack of that tape on the wall, we can usually figure out where it is, but we're by no means experts. And we definitely make sure it doesn't fall out of the wall. A lot of folks use these suction cup things. You've never seen them. And they're really no good. They can cause more harm than good. And these definitely, all these holes for different screws that we can attach to the wall. And we have a grant, I think it's Catholic Charities donated money towards these. And every person can get 2 grab bars installed for free. And these go for about $23 each. They're stainless steel, so they never rust. So you can't beat the price of free. And they can save somebody's life, because one slip and fall in a bathtub could be fatal. And the next thing we do a lot of is these railings in the house. A lot of the folks that have lived in the same home for over 50, 60 years, and eventually the railings get loose, and they probably were never firmly attached to begin with. And we do the same thing. We make sure we find the stud in the wall. We have these little stud finding magnetic things, and we find out exactly where the stud is so that we can affix it properly. And my job is to pull it like crazy before we leave, because I'm just so muscular, to make sure that nobody's going to fall when they hold on to it. And I used to think that the building codes required 2 sets of railings, one on each side, but I was mistaken. That's not a building code. But a lot of folks do want to have it on the opposite side of the wall, one for going up, one for going down. If you can figure that out, you're better than me, because when you visualize, you usually go with the right hand and coming down with the right hand. So I don't know why they need it on either side, but if the customer wants it, we give it. And these we do charge for. And unfortunately, the price of lumber has really gotten expensive. If you've been to a lumber yard recently, this stuff is like $4 a foot. So it adds up. But on the other hand, if someone had to call a carpenter to come into the house and put in a 6-foot railing, it would cost more than $24. Just to get somebody to come would be a major feat, because carpenters don't want to do a small job like a railing. It would be cost prohibitive to the average senior citizen that would need somebody to come in. We have these nice brass railing holders, brackets we call them. And so it does a nice finished job. The only thing we don't do is paint. So for your children of adult parents, you can get a paintbrush or a spray can and do whatever you want. Just leave it natural and let it age. It doesn't matter. So those are the two biggies. But we do just about anything else in between. Today we worked, actually installed a mailbox onto someone's side of their house because they couldn't lean over the rail to do it themselves. And so we did that. That was the first time I ever did a mailbox. We do a lot of insulating of the windows. They have these kits, they're plastic, and you put this tape around the window, and then you take a hair dryer and you go like this, and with the hair dryer, it makes it nice and tight, and for the winter, so no drafts come in. And then the same person calls us 2 months later to take it off the window, so it's like a lifetime job for us, but we don't mind. And I find that a lot of the seniors really just enjoy having company. You know, they get to talk to somebody and kibitz around a little bit, and they always offer us coffee and soda. We don't take anything like that. And some people do offer, can we give you a tip? And we don't accept tips or gratuities, but we do accept donations. We have these nice little envelopes, they can mail it in, and we take checks, and everything is above board. And we use the money to buy nails and screws and brackets, things that aren't covered by the jobs that we do. So that's just about anything else in between. Plumbing, we kind of steer away from, because many times with plumbing, you have to turn off the water under the sink, and that valve doesn't really, it's rusted. And if you put muscle to it and you break it, it's going to be a big mess. There could be leaks, and the person could be out of commission for a day until it gets fixed. So we kind of steered away from anything that could be a disaster. But like in a toilet, the little flapper thing inside, we do things like that. Really simple. Or the flushing arm, which could be a nuisance. Water runs continuous and water bills have gotten expensive, so we can help them out that way. So that's basically it. So there's no charge except for material like lumber, or if we don't have the grant for the grab bars. We do doorbells. We actually fixed an old fashioned, we have a transformer down the basement, if you remember that. We replaced some of them and the doorbell itself. And if people go to Home Depot, they can buy a battery powered wireless doorbell, and we'll install it and screw it on the wall for them. So the children or the adults can buy this stuff at Home Depot. And a lot of people today are computer savvy. They'll go to Amazon and look it up and order it and just have it ready for us, and we'll do the installation. We don't climb on extension ladders. We're all getting kind of older, so we don't do that kind of thing. We don't shovel snow. We don't do lawn care. Basically, the mechanical things around the house. Are there any questions or comments?
Do you do anything like, I'm probably not, like an electrical thing, like if it was changing like a light
Yeah,
switch or something
Yeah, we
like
do
that?
that.
Oh, that's good to know.
As long as we're not running new lines. If they
Right.
want to run an extension or
Right.
some additional light, we don't do that.
But just to replace.
Toggle switch, we call that, or receptacle. We actually did that today.
And for those things, from my understanding for the years I've known you guys, the clients themselves have to get that?
No.
You guys bring
So
it.
we run 3 trucks every day,
Amazing.
and there's 3 people on each truck, 5 days a week. So there's 15 work units to go out and fix things. And we do have inventory that we carry on the truck, and we have it at our home base right down the street on Eisenhower Parkway in Paramus. It is a charge. Receptacle, we did one today, it cost $3. Now, if you had to call an electrician, I think it'd be about $300 to get him to your house, and he would mark up the price of the receptacle, so maybe it'd be a $400 job by the time he gets done. We can do it for $3. So.
What's the process for getting on a list, and what's the timing?
That's a good question. It's not my department, but yet there's a phone number to call, and someone will take the message. And I don't know if they actually give the exact time they're coming, but it goes on a list. It's not instantaneous. They may have to wait a week or 10 days, but they'll get on the schedule.
It's not a very long wait, and that's our goal, is really to keep the wait time down. And because of great volunteers were able to do that. But there is a main number you call, and between the chore program and the other two programs I'm gonna tell you about, we take in 50 calls a day for our senior programs.
That includes Saturday and Sunday, people call.
Right.
Of course, no one's there.
And our volunteers are manning the phones also, so, and they will follow up. So if we make the appointment the week before, they'll follow up, just like the doctor's appointment, so they'll follow up the following week, the day before, and they'll give a little reminder, and they'll usually set the, they can tell you if you're gonna be first or last, and other than that, they give you an approximate time that they'll come.
And we always call before we go to the person's house. And today we had a great example. Someone said, no, I want to cancel. So it's a good thing we didn't just drive up and it'd be another half hour to get to their house and half hour back. And so that was good that we call first. And many times the seniors don't answer the phone. You know, they get so many nuisance calls. Even though we leave a message, they still don't pick up. You know, they don't believe us. Yes?
What about installing cameras in the house?
Not really. Like the Ring cameras. I have a Ring
Or
doorbell
in
at
the
home.
In the house?
No, we don't
One
do
in the
cameras,
kitchen?
video, no. That would be involved with running wiring through the ceiling or down a wall. We don't do that.
Not necessarily, Wi-Fi.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Well, we can't say that we're Wi-Fi experts either, so we really don't do that. You might have a good grandson that's a genius that can do that.
Mine's only 20 months old. So
No, okay.
I'll have to wait a
He
while.
may understand the internet better than you do.
When he's 5, he'll be able to do it, no problem.
I'm sure they can. But that involves using the internet and going onto your website and your actual computer and putting in codes, so we don't do that. That's would be an invasion of privacy. Good
Linda,
question.
I'm jumping to Linda for 1 second. Linda, is there anything that you can shed light on about that?
About security cameras, and yeah, there's a lot of different ways to do it, depending on, you know, what the needs are. And yes, we do use cameras that use Wi-Fi and they can have backup. It depends on, you know, we do a lot of Ring equipment, so you can actually have a history. Like if you're dealing with somebody with Alzheimer's, I like to have the Ring, because if they should get out of the house and we need to be able to know what they were wearing and what direction they headed in order to contact the police or their caregivers, so that they have that information. But we've hooked up cameras of all different types, you know, depending on what each family needs.
Good.
So.
So she's the lady to call.
That's
Any other questions? Well, thanks for listening.
Thank you so much for coming.
Yeah, my pleasure.
I appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Believe me, you wouldn't want me to be the one to talk about how to fix up your house. That would not work. So that's our chore program. There are flyers on the table there. I'll take some and just pass them around so you can have that information. You don't need.
No,
You've been there. Okay, so basically on the flyer, it does say who we serve. You have to be 60 years or older, or have some disability or cognitive impairment. I won't read you everything on here, but you have the information you need. You have the phone numbers. I don't know if any of you knew Michelle Ogden. She oversaw the chore program, and she just retired, and she oversaw the program for 8 years. So the woman who oversees the program right now, Diana, is wonderful. Diana's been with us for about 2 years. And Diana's role, prior to taking on chore as well, is our senior initiative. This is our Mark and Amy Shervan Senior Safety Initiative. Got that right. This is an amazing program that stemmed out of the chore program. We can go in and do assessments, and they're very thorough assessments, and they start from when you pull up to the house, meaning, can you clearly see the address? Is there a banister going up the steps? Is there enough lighting? And they will go in room by room, check from ceiling to floor of what might be needed in that room. Is there a carpet up that needs to be tacked down? Are there light bulbs that are out? I know you said you don't use the extension ladders, but you use ladders and you change a lot of light bulbs, I would think, yeah. So again, it's all about keeping seniors safe at home. So with this Sherman Safety Initiative, we're able to go into the homes and make recommendations. Very often, those recommendations go right back to chore, and they go in and they can go in and fix things. Very often, they will go to Linda or other contractors who are able to, we're not gonna go in and fix a roof. You know, there are things that we can't do. So we have a list of vendors who are vetted, and we know that they do great work, and they're not going to take advantage of seniors. So that is a wonderful initiative that the Shervan family seeded that, and that started last year. Last year we did over 100 home assessments, and this year we're well on the way to beat that record of last year. And it's very, very rewarding. And it's nice that these programs go hand in hand. So we had a case where there was a woman who, it was a couple. They were living in Bergen County. They had a niece who lived in Texas. Were you on that one? I don't think you were on that. They had a niece who lived in Texas, and they had a niece who lived in Bergen County. And I don't know if you're familiar with these kind of stories, but the niece in Texas was the one who was really kind of overseeing things more than the local sister. However, she didn't realize that, and she thought the local sister was really staying on top of everything. And the chore volunteer, when it was called, went in and just found a lot of serious concerns. And one thing led to another. They reached out to the family in Texas. The woman in Texas ended up flying in, met the chore volunteer at the house. When they did the repairs, it was really very, very much appreciative. And it's just something that we take great pride in that we were able to help with. And then the other thing that Steve was just mentioning, when you go into the home as a chore volunteer, very often what they really love is that companionship. And very often, you know, they'll have a coffee with you, or they want you to sit and talk and schmooze, and it's another way to socialize. So we have a program called the Cheer Program, where we match volunteers who will go in. They'll be matched up with a senior in the community, and they'll do visits once a week. They'll go in and they'll decide together what they need. Maybe that person wants them to go grocery shopping, and they work that out. They'll pay them. If finances are an issue, there are senior services that they may reach out to, but they'll set up what needs to be done. So maybe they'll go to the library, pick up a library book, or they'll do food shopping, like I said, or pick up a prescription. They won't walk the pets or anything like that, but they socialize. And very often, these are the only people that are seen in that home. And it gives the resident a reason to get up in the morning and get dressed and welcome somebody into their house. And my favorite story, if you don't know this one, this is really my favorite. It's very touching. So there was a woman who was volunteering for a cheer recipient, and they celebrated the recipient's 80th birthday. Last year, the same volunteer and recipient celebrated the recipient's 101st birthday. They've been together for 21 years. So that's my favorite story. There are lots of stories like that, but these relationships really, they go deep. And then very often the cheer volunteer will go in and they'll notice, oh my God, you know, what happened to your light bulbs? There's no lighting in here, and they'll call chore. So chore and cheer really feed into each other, and they feed into the whole safety initiative. Does anybody have any questions about anything like that? Now you can understand why we get 50 calls a day. I mean, there are lots of services. That's it.
I always have questions. So the phone number, it's a one-stop shop, right? So there might be an adult child for an aging parent. They're not quite sure what it is that they need, but they know that they need either a home modification or some support service, but you can just call and you get evaluated for everything. Right?
Yes and no. Okay. They do feed into each other, but there are different phone numbers. The numbers are on the flyers. And again, that when people are calling for chore, because we're getting all these calls a day, they're going to that number and they're kind of getting distributed where they need to go. Lisa Tradici is the person who oversees the cheer program, because when Michelle retired, which was a week ago, Michelle was there for 8 years and she oversaw chore and cheer. Diana oversaw and still oversees the safety initiative. Diana took on chore, and Lisa, who oversees our mentorship program, took on cheer, which makes sense because it's very similar, having these like mentors and people who are one-on-one helping somebody, if that makes sense. And Lisa's been with us, I think, 7 years now. Good question. Sorry for the confusing answer. We're actually just in the process of updating all of our flyers. So you have on the flyers for cheer and chore, you have the correct numbers. On the Sherman Safety Initiative, you have the correct number. If you go to the website, everything is updated. You'll know exactly where to go. And if you call the wrong number, it's not a problem because we will direct you to the right number. Okay? There's another program we have, a few other programs. So there's the VITA program, which is the Volunteer Income Tax Assistance Program, VITA. That just wrapped up because April 15th, that all wrapped up. So what we do is if there are people who have income below, I think it's $70,000 a year, they can apply. They would have to set up an appointment, and we would match them up with somebody who is certified to do their tax returns. They don't pay a penny for it. So last year we did, I think, 635 tax returns. There were all these stats on how many dollars we've saved and things like that. I mean, it's really pretty amazing. And we have some people who come year after year. They'll have the same people helping them. So they have this trust built because, you know, they've worked with them year after year and they're saving them money. Not just to do the return, but they're saving money that would be difficult to get otherwise. So that's something to keep in mind for next year if you know of anybody who could use the services.
I'm sorry, for that service, when do people need to get in touch with you?
We send out email blast and we announce it. I want to say that started, around January. It may have been a little bit.
January 3rd.
Yeah, I think it was January, February.
Thank you.
Sure. And that's the VITA program. And then there's another program called Redefining Retirement, which is a fantastic program for people who want to give back to the community and do some volunteer work. So we have liaisons through this program who will take phone calls from people who call and basically say, you know, I just retired, I have some time, I want to get back, I have no idea what I want to do. And we have agencies that are partner agencies. And these liaisons know what these agencies need, what type of volunteers they need, what hours. They're constantly updated, and they'll do a very in-depth assessment, basically, and find out. So, for example, we could have somebody who's retired who was in the financial field, and they might say, you know, I really want to bring my skill set to a nonprofit community. Or we'll have the complete opposite. We'll have somebody who calls and says, you know, I have a very strong background in finance. I never want to see another dollar sign as long as I live. So they'll get to talking, oh, what do you like to do? I love animals. Pony Power and Mawa. They're looking for somebody to brush the horses on Tuesdays and Thursdays from 2 to 4, whatever. So they will really take these assessments. They give, they have a PowerPoint presentation that they do online once a month. And I have that information here, which I will find yes. It's Redefining Retirement. So the next presentation is on Tuesday, May 19th, and they speak at libraries and senior centers also. So I'll leave this information for anybody who's interested in volunteering or knows anybody who wants to volunteer. Okay. So since this was billed as senior services, or the wealth of learning all about senior services in the area, there is a guide. I don't have copies of this, unfortunately. This is the 2024 guide. It is the Key Services Guide for Older Adults and Caregivers, and it's from the Bergen County Department of Human Services and the Division of Senior Services. I called them the other day in Hackensack because my plan was to go over and pick up a bunch and just hand them out. They don't have any luck. These came out the end of 2024. So they did not publish a new one in 2025. They're working on the one for 2026. However, you can go online. And if you go to bergencounty.nj.gov and then just scroll down, you'll see the Division of Senior Services. They have a couple different things. If you scroll down and you click on the read more, you can get all the information online.
Is that the same kind of stuff as Senior Blue Book?
No.
This is all run through the Bergen County. It's part
Yeah,
of our
it's from the
taxes.
county.
Well, so, but it's not, or is it the same setup, like same resources, or like what's in the book?
Count services through the county. So Senior Blue Book is.
So just Bergen County Services,
Correct.
and there's a whole directory for that?
Yeah.
Wow.
Oh,
Bergen County has the most amazing services ever.
you know what, if you want to pass this around and just kind of look through it. I'm sorry I couldn't get my hands on more. You have no idea what I went through to get that one. Okay.
I was just gonna say, this has to go home.
Yeah. There's the phone number and then again, if you just go to bergencounty.nj.gov, you could type in senior services or division of senior services. It was not difficult to find. There's also a senior helpline, and that number is 201-336-7400. And Lorraine just told me about a program before. This is Ride Connect program.
Through the county.
Through the county?
They have a concierge that you call for them, tell them where you need to go, what time, what day, with, you're going to doctor's appointment, food shopping. They will match you up with the most reliable and affordable match around. Some is free, some maybe costs a little bit, but there's a concierge there who will match you with the right program. Because they have, Bergen County has a few different ride programs.
And that number is 201-368-5955. I did want to let you know about an event we have coming up on June 12th. This is a home accessibility education program. So we had a series of 3 workshops. Again, Linda, you're like my, the magnet here. So Linda actually spoke at one of our programs. It was all about technology support for seniors. We provided a workshop, a series of 3 workshops called Knowledge for Senior Care. So on June 12th, it will be home accessibility education, affordable practical modifications for creating safer home environments with fewer barriers so that seniors can enjoy improved mobility. So I will leave these for you as well over on the table. They're very well attended programs, lots of really good information. And again, you'll really find a lot of information if you go online and you look at all the services through the county. Does anybody have any questions about anything? Eden, yes.
So I've often referred to Bergen Volunteers when there was a senior that was living alone, but for those that are living with their adult children, they can still be referred as long as the adult is within that age group, right? Like 60 and up.
Yes, they can.
That's great.
Thank you.
So much for taking the time. Sure. Everyone. Brochures are up there. If you ever have a question after this, you can always contact me and I'll put you in touch with Debbie, and if there's something more information you need. Check out our next week, next month. Stephen Katz said he'll be here. He's always a wealth of information. So please come back and visit us for that. Thank you.
Thank you. Steve, thank you again for coming.
It was fun, thank you.
Oh, wait.
Oh, yeah, this is something I just gave out before because this is something we have in our packets when we go into the homes and we're doing the safety assessment. This is just all about senior scams and things to be aware of, and I just thought it was a really good piece of information, so I wanted everybody to have a copy, and there are extras here if you know any seniors who could use this.
Thank you.
Eden, do you have any questions?
I think of it, I'll text you.
I'm counting on you. Thank you all for coming. I appreciate it.